Good morning. My name is Stella Natufe, and I work for the City of Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. Welcome to the BACP Business Education Workshop webinar series. We have adapted our regular business education workshops at City Hall into these webinars until further notice. On behalf of our Commissioner, Rosa Escareno, I want to inform you that business licenses can be processed online by visiting www.chicagobusinessdirect.org. If you are a part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. If you want to learn more about the program, please visit chicago.gov/business education. To help guide your business and employees during Chicago's reopening process, please visit www.chicago.gov/reopening. Also, BACP and the City of Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communications created Shy Biz Emergency Alerts. You can opt in to receive targeted emergency alerts for the business community. If you are interested, please visit chicago.gov/Shy Biz Alerts. We encourage all of our attendees to please ask questions. Please use the chat box and send your questions to all panelists. There will be a Q&A session at the end of this presentation. Today's webinar is entitled Facebook and Instagram Posts. Take your post to the next level, presented by Francisco Ramirez of Chimbly Consultants. At this time, I will turn this webinar over to Francisco.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Francisco Ramirez. I am a co-owner at Chimbly Consultants, where we focus on technology and marketing for small businesses. I'm excited to be presenting here today on something that I think will interest all of you, which is Facebook and Instagram and how to make the best of it for your business. So, sorry, give me a second here. Are we good? Okay. So today we will be talking specifically about Facebook and Instagram. In this webinar, we will compare what makes a post rise to the top and what knocks a post off news feeds, examine Facebook and Instagram posts, and leave you with tools on how to make sure your posts actually get the engagement and the visibility that you want them. Everything I'm going to be talking about today is a business page, okay? So Facebook business page, Instagram business page. So all this information has to do specifically with those business pages. After 2016, if you can recall that election, really Facebook got into some deep and heat water because of their algorithm, because of what kind of information they were showing to people. And they really restarted to think their algorithm. And so after 2016 until today, they've been really shifting the mentality about what information they want to show the audience and how to make sure that these information creates meaningful interactions. This is the phrase that they keep using, meaningful interactions. And so some of the key concepts that came out of that is how likely is a person likely to have a positive reaction to the content that is being provided. They want to prioritize groups that a user follows, and they want to increase the prevalence of posts from friends Facebook think a user might want to hear the most from. And so your business page, for example, they want to make sure that your business page actually gets seen by people who will interact with it positively. They also want to prioritize links that a user might consider most worthwhile. They don't want people just to be clicking on whatever link. They want to make sure that if you're sharing links through your business pages, that those links are going to create positive interactions, meaningful interactions. And so they've been tweaking the algorithm since 2016. They've been rethinking what that looks like. And today, I'm here to kind of explain to you what that algorithm looks like and how you can use the algorithm to benefit your business and your posts. And so the algorithm and the meaningful interaction really goes down to four main things: inventory, signals, predictions, and a final score. These four things are hidden behind the scenes, but today we're going to talk about what they mean, and so that you're aware, in order to make sure that your posts actually get the engagement, the impressions, the reach that you want them. And so this is how Facebook rates meaningful interactions. We'll start with inventory. First and foremost, there are thousands of posts every second throughout the world on Facebook, right? Thousands and thousands. So, first of all, the algorithm considers all available posts at a given time. So, every second, they're considering every single post that is being published. Secondly, they choose from all the published posts and they consider passive and active signals to determine how much they're going to show that post to your audience, your followers, your followers. So passive and active signals. That means the story type. What kind of story did you share? What time did you post this? How often are you posting? How long are people watching this video or this post? Um, is your profile complete? Are people commenting? Are you replying to those comments, or are people replying to those comments? What kind of engagement is happening? Likes, shares, views. So these are on the left. You see passive signals, things that your post is, and then on the right is active signals, actual things that you can see. And so what type of posts you put on Facebook and Instagram really matters for the passive signals. How long is a video? How long, how many words did you type? Do you have too many links? Do you only have one link? Do you have an image? Do you have various images? All those are passive signals. The active is what you're seeing, the comments, the likes, the shares, the views. And so that is taken into consideration to let the algorithm know whether they should continue showing this post to people, or that kind of reached the end of its life. And so now Facebook makes a prediction. Will your followers, will the user who sees this post want to interact with the post? So they take all the inventory, they consider the passive signals and active signals, and now they make a prediction. This post is good, this post not so good, this post yay. And so it's all an algorithm behind the scenes that's happening in immediate time. Once the prediction is made, whether a user will want to interact with the post, they give it a final score. You won't know the score. It's all, as I said, behind the scenes. And so there's a value assigned to the post that predicts the likelihood that your followers will want to interact with that post. And so the higher your final score is, the more likely they're going to show that post to your friends of friends, your friends of friends of friends. The lower or the smaller that score is, the more likely that only a handful of people are going to see it, and maybe the handful of people that see it really love it, and so then the score gets updated. But this is a prediction. The score is kind of final, and then that's why you get some posts that really do very well, and other posts that kind of don't. So when we think about the meaningful interactions, when you post something, it goes through that algorithm behind the scenes, and they show it to your closest group of followers. And so maybe my dad always likes my post, so my dad will always be the first person to see, and Facebook will be like, well, Francisco's dad will either like this or not like it, because it's just kind of the norm. And so if my dad doesn't like that post for whatever reason, then it's like, yeah, this is not a good post. And so first is the closest group of followers. Then say my dad and my friends start liking that post or sharing it or commenting, Facebook, then the algorithm shows it to the second level of followers. Same with Instagram, the second level of followers. And so they want to test it out there. How are people reacting in that second level? Finally, no, not finally, then if it does well in that second level, it goes to the third level of followers and friends of followers. And so now it's growing because that post is doing well. It's getting a lot of engagement. It's getting some, not just likes, it's getting hearts or laughs, or a different type of now you have a variety of options there. And then what we all want, of course, is a viral post for our business, because that brings a lot of awareness. It brings a lot of eyes to our business, to our profile, to who we are. And so we eventually want something to go viral, but it first has to go through that process of a good score, your closest group of followers are loving it, and second, third level before we get to that viral level. When some a post is doing really well organically, it just Facebook and Instagram just keep showing it and keep showing it. But when it doesn't, then it's one and done, and that's sometimes what we see with our posts because they, maybe the time that we posted wasn't the best time, maybe the content wasn't as engaging, and so we definitely want to think about our posts in a way that's going to get to that second, third level. So what can we do as business owners when we're thinking about our posts on Instagram and or Facebook? First and foremost, and the most important thing is to focus on our audience. We have to talk to a core audience and not the masses because a post doesn't go viral when we're just trying to please everybody. And so we should really be talking to our core audience. Who are those people that we really want to share our content, to remember us, to bring awareness to our business? And so focusing on that. We want to be conversation starters on Facebook and Instagram. We want people to interact. Remember, meaningful interactions. And so the content that we're posting should encourage people to stop, interact, and share because that's what we want our posts to do. And so you should be asking questions. We'll talk about some of those posts, that looks like. We have to also think about twice about clickbait. No longer is clickbait being accepted by the algorithm. They look for keywords in clickbait and they put those lower scores on those clickbait posts. And so if you were used to back, 2017, 16, 15 to get people to like share this and blank, that's kind of a no-no these days. Tracking your performance is really important on Facebook and Instagram. We have amazing analytics and data that they give us for free. And so being able to use that data to inform us is really something that I encourage us all to do. And finally, we should always have a call to action. We should tell our audience what to do. And whether it be, go visit our website, come visit our store, call us today. What is that call to action? Because that's going to help people remember us and do something after reading the post or seeing the picture. So we're going to dive into specifically our audience. Focus on your target audience is super important in everything we do in marketing. We should really know who we're talking to, whether it be an email, marketing email, whether it be a brochure. We should always, always, always have in mind our target audience. Who is that person? You should give him or her a name, or they a name, because that's who we should be talking to. So do the research, figure out who your target audience is, who are your followers, what do they like, what do they respond to? Are they going to respond more to professionalism, sarcasm, jokes? Um, what kind of mood is your audience going to respond to? Make sure you get your audience, like you understand who they are because your posts should be talking to them. Follow users, follow people who are very similar to your business. It's okay to follow your competition and see what you're doing and share a comment on their page. They comment on yours. You're creating a community. In Instagram, make sure we're targeting specific groups through hashtags. Using those hashtags are really important in Instagram. Mentioning on Instagram because you're building that community of meaningful interactions. And so really thinking about your posts as a conversation with somebody, with your audience, is really one way that you can help your posts really be seen and get the reach and impressions that you want to be marketable. So let's look at a couple Facebook and Instagram posts when we talk about focus on your target audience. In this case, this is an Introverts Everywhere page. And so the post is, it's finally World Introvert Day where I live. What are you doing to celebrate? So it's really funny. If you're an introvert, you really don't want to celebrate, you don't want to be social, you want to stay inside. But then this created like a ton of laughs, a ton of comments, um, just a conversation. And next thing you know, 1,200 shares, 73 comments, 571 likes, reactions. And so just something as simple as a joke within the community can really spark a viral post like this one. In this regard, True Lemon is a brand, but this brand, instead of focusing on their self and promoting their own, kind of brand, they actually brought in somebody else. So we love desserts, especially when they look and taste like this. This crepe recipe, courtesy of our friend, and then they tag the friend, is made with packets of true lemon and will instantly satisfy your sweet tooth. So right here, they're bringing in somebody who might have a lot of followers. They're telling you, this person created this with our product, and now it just begins to like, people like that, creates people follow that person, that person then follows you back, and it just creates kind of a good cycle with your post. So thinking about how to bring in people, how to mention them in a way that's not always self-serving, it's a really good way to get that engaging audience. In this case, Sephora, there's a choice. Choose one: cover acne or combat acne. Impossible, right? And then they give you the product. Now, here, when I talk about your target audience, um, they're actually asking to cover your acne or to fight your acne. So they're probably talking to a younger audience who has acne. And so they're really focused on a younger audience with acne. And this creates some engagement, right? 26 shares, 30 comments, 568 um, likes. And so right now, this is just kind of like they're selling a product, but it doesn't feel like it. It's more of a conversation about acne. And now people commenting, and it creates conversation. And then next thing you know, Sephora gets a ton of publicity because of this post. And so free, just on Facebook. So that's what we want at the end with our business when we're posting. We want people to be interacting with our posts. We want people to share it, to comment on it. We, as a business owner, also want to be answering those comments and answering those questions and ensuring that we are present with our posts, whether they be on Instagram or Facebook, and then ensuring that there's that really positive community aspect to it, because that's really what's going to give you positive scores as you continue posting. Let's move over to a conversation starter. We need to be conversation starters because that creates a community. That's what Facebook wants, people to be having positive interactions. So we need to strike a balance, ask questions. There's a difference between simple questions versus passionate questions, and quality over quantity. And so when we say um, we're going to jump into these things, to be aware that if we're going to want to start a deep conversation or something a little bit more philosophical or a little bit more, risky conversations, we need to be managing that. And so don't post something like that and then leave. Because otherwise you might regret your post. So be a conversation starter. In this case, the Science Channel on Instagram asked the question, ever wonder what's living in your tap water? And so there's a good chance you've gulped down a glass of, I always mess this word, copy pod, cop pod. So this little microbe, and there's a video attached to it. And now it's like, wait, what is this? Ooh, I never thought about that. What is in my water? And so it just creates this thinking, this question, people asking, do they know this? Do they not? They heard this story, they heard that story. And next thing you know, it's 6,000 views, tons of comments if we go down the page, and it just creates a really good interaction. People are talking about microbes and water and all this good stuff. And so the videos always help because this video actually answers the question that they're trying to get people to talk about. And so if you're asking a question on your Facebook or Instagram post, remember, make sure you're ready to kind of share your knowledge, your wisdom, answer those questions that people might have in the comment section, and don't just leave it out there and leave it without answering those. So really good conversation starter. Asking questions is always a good thing. Another way to be a conversation starter is maybe on Instagram it's allowed to have these to have these raffles, or Facebook doesn't allow these anymore, but Instagram is still allowing you to have kind of raffles on Instagram. So you can win a prize by following blank, by posting or commenting on this and sharing with friends or tagging friends. So Instagram is still allowing you to have these types of interactions with people, but Facebook will not allow these because of their terms and agreements. And so something to really consider if you're going to give away something on Instagram, make sure that you're aware of their policy and how they want you to run those awards or those raffles because you don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, Facebook will not allow you. They'll say like it's against their policy. But this is another way to start a conversation by people having, tagging people. You also don't want something to be aware of when you're trying to do a giveaway is that you don't want to attract, a ton of followers who will unfollow you the next day. That's never fun because your count goes up and then it goes down. It's not consistent. So just be mindful of what type of giveaways you're going to give so that you attract the right community to your page and the right type of followers to your page. When we talk about be a conversation starter, this is one of our fun ones here at Chimbly. I just said October 4th is National Taco Day. I personally love tacos. And so it's like, recommend tacos. This is what we're recommending in our neighborhood of Logan Square. What do you recommend? And it has started people like recommending places, conversations about tacos. It has nothing to do with marketing, had nothing to do with technology, but it was a taco conversation. And so it's really fun. Sometimes, we don't always have to be promoting our product or services. We don't always have to be selling. We want to engage our audience. And sometimes it's just with something that we like as business owners or I'm thinking about a new product. What do you think about this? Would you buy it? And so it just creates that conversation. So this is one of our most popular ones a couple of years ago because it had nothing to do with our product or services. It was just a good conversation starter. Third thing to avoid is clickbait. We don't want to use clickbait anymore. It's something that's the algorithms look for, keywords that they look for, and stop allowing people to continue sharing or continue engaging with this. It gets a lower score in the back end. And so vote baiting, react baiting, share baiting, tag baiting, comment baiting. No, no, no. Try not to do those. If you are, be very smart about it because your posts will probably not get the reach that you really want them. Asking for help, recommendations, advice is not considered clickbait. And so if you're asking for like, hey, would anybody recommend a good blank? Or I'm trying to design a new cake. Would anybody recommend that's not clickbait because you're asking a question. So kind of a different type of bait is what they call it. And so vote baiting, in case you haven't seen it, vote on your 2018 goals, be fitter, find love, move cities, get a promotion, and then you click or you like one of those 4 things. That gets a lower score these days. So back in the day, still allowed. Today, you won't see many of those on your feed because it just doesn't create a good, meaningful interaction. React baiting is like this if you're an Aries, love this if you're a Leo. Once again, this is just, trying to get people to click on the like or the love, and it's not really creating a meaningful interaction, a conversation. So the algorithm frowns upon these types of things. Share baiting, share with 10 friends for a chance to win a new convertible. These were very popular back in the day. This is now against the terms and conditions of Facebook because how do you know who shared? You don't know who shared and who shared and shared and shared, so you can't really have a really a, a, a proper or appropriate raffle because you don't know who's in the raffle at this point. And so no more of that because it's just not something that was being done. Nobody was winning those convertibles. Tag baiting, same thing. Tag girls that look like this, and now you're asking people to tag people, and people are being tagged for a reason that they didn't know, and it's just like, why are you tagging me? That's kind of the opposite of the meaningful interactions that Facebook really wants these days. Instagram is still like really good. Like I don't know if you've seen on Instagram people tagging and kind of like adding them. That's still something really fun on Instagram that kind of creates that community, but not on Facebook. So kind of a little bit of a difference there in terms of what is allowed on Instagram versus what works on Facebook. But at the end of the day, meaningful interactions. Comment baiting, comment yes if you love rock as much as I do. When you just get one word comments on your post, yes, no, yes, the algorithm doesn't take those comments seriously and doesn't give you a higher score. So you really want comments that are longer, You want comments that engage other people, that ask other people to like come in into the conversation and comment themselves. And so the algorithm is pretty smart these days to say like a difference between one word comments and a sentence comment. And so that's what they want. They want longer interactions on Facebook. So these no longer work like they used to. And at the end of the day, sometimes less can be more. This is a video of a young man doing Play-Doh designs without, as you can see, hands. And so they really just said, wow, dot, 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 in a video. Not clickbaiting, no type of baiting, no question asked, but this got 1.8 million reactions, 2.5 million shares, 138 million views. Something so simple as a video, sometimes less can be more. And so think about your pictures, think about your videos, think about your content that you're going to be putting on Instagram or Facebook, because at the end of the day, you want something to go viral, but for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. And so thinking about it, sometimes less can be more, and it gives you a positive experience. Your brand gets more awareness. We talk about our posts, and tracking our performance is critical. It's so important to track our performance because otherwise we don't know if something is working. And this is why having a business page on Instagram, having a business page on Facebook is really important, because you will not get the data if you're still on your personal pages promoting yourself or your business. And so as I keep talking about all the data that we're going to be looking at in a second, it's because you have a business page that allows you to get the data to see what's working, what's not. And so on Facebook, you have reach, impressions, post clicks, reactions, comments, shares, engagement rate, fans versus non-fans. Instagram, same thing, reach, impressions, engagements, activity, a wealth of data that they give us for free to find out what's working, what worked, what didn't, why, and dive a little bit deeper. We're going to look at a couple of these slides, and then I'm going to jump right into the actual analytics on Facebook. So this is, a law firm that put a testimonial, and so organically, this this law firm had 695 followers, but this post reached 1,231. So it reached twice as many people as are following the law firm. Really, really important and powerful. It had 181 engagements just organically. So this is the data that we posted this on a law firm website post. I mean Facebook, and boom, pretty good. Two people out of the 1,200 people reach shared it. So two people shared this post. So it got two additional shares. So now it's four people, 44 new likes, five new loves, eight new comments. And so if we're really just looking at our own posts organically on the data that we're looking, we would have only seen 17 likes, one love, and two comments. But once you dive into the data, you see that there's actually an additional 44 likes, an additional five loves, an additional eight comments based on those shares. We won't be able to see that data if we're still on our personal pages, and we won't know this information if we're just looking at the post itself. We need to dive into the analytics to find out that this actually happened. This is a really powerful post because it reached so many more people than we expected. I love data because then it gives you that insight. When I showed you the taco post, so we were posting articles just to kind of see what was happening, and you see 42 people reached, 55 people reached, 35. Boom, that taco reached 159 people, had 42 engagements, 51. So just really seeing like, whoa, that was a really good post because it went way beyond our normal statistics. And then we're going to look at fans versus non-fans. Instagram is a little bit not as much amazing data as Facebook, but you can still track your performance on your phone. It's still not desktop. You go to the hamburger menu and go to Insights, and so you're able to see kind of this information on Instagram. And so tracking your performance is really important as well to see what's working or not. So I go back to the taco post because it kind of sees. So here we look at reach. This taco post reached 220 people. So that's pretty good. 220 people. Impressions, but 334 times that post was seen. And so impressions is how many times your post was seen. Reach is how many accounts saw it. And so 220 accounts saw the post, but they saw it 334 times. So some people saw it 3 times, some people saw it 2 times, some people saw it 1 time. And so it's really important just to see those impressions and the difference between the reach and the impressions. And then the engagement, which is what we want, that meaningful interactions. So this one got 30 engagements, twice as much as the previous one. And actually, the second picture is me presenting live in downtown Chicago for one of these presentations. So really cool to look at the differences between reach, impressions, and engagement. And you want, as you can see, top the number 2 and number 3 change, but the first, across the board, the taco one is number 1. And so really good. I'm going to dive over here to the Facebook analytics. So if you go to your business page and go to insights, you'll see this menu here on the left, and posts is where you want to go. Looking at your posts is really important. Here, it's really important for Facebook. They give you this data on purpose. What time are your followers online? Because you want to, one of the passive signals is the time that you post. And so you want to post when your followers are online. And so here it tells you 79 people at 10 a.m., 83 people at 2 p.m., but 93 people at 7 p.m. So something to consider. Maybe today on a Friday, I post at 6:30 p.m. because I want the largest audience to see that post. And so that's why analytics matter in terms of your posts to get the most out of them. And so now you go down here, you see your post, and so you'll see 1,000 right here, 1,200, 2,400. That's really, really amazing reach, because otherwise we don't have a ton of followers on our page. So the other numbers look more normal and average. And so what happened? It allows us to really investigate what happened with this post 675, this post 754, and dive into what kind of post was that? Why did it get the likes, the interaction? You can also change right here your analytics to engagement rate. Engagement rate is really important because that's the percentage of people who are engaging with your post. Who cares if get 20 likes if only 1% are engaging with it based on who saw it. And so engagement rate is really what Facebook wants with those meaningful interactions. So right here, even though only 17 people have seen this post that was posted yesterday, 6% have engaged with it. That's a pretty good average or number. So this one, 25 people saw, but only 4% engaged with it. And so it allows us to really look what kind of post was that? Why did it get a higher engagement than the other? And so, 22% is a really high engagement rate. That's like really good because, 5%, 6% is what, most average businesses. Right here, 675, that's a really high reach, as I mentioned. Let's see how many impressions that was. 675 accounts saw it, but now we're going to go with impressions. 702 times this post was shown. So 600 accounts saw it 700 times, and it got a 15% engagement rate, which is really good. And so you don't always want the really high impressions and the really high reach if your engagement rate is really low. It doesn't matter. And so right here, 15%, 14%, really good. Those high percentages. So 19% here. As you can see, really the highest percentage is a 22 right there. And so why were 22% interested in this post? Diving into that post, get the data that you want, that you need, and allows you to make your post stronger as you move as you continue to post in the future. So that's analytics for us on Facebook, and then Instagram. We talk about it. You have to look at it on your phone. Okay, so the call to action. What are you wanting your followers to do? There should always be some kind of call to action. You want people to remember your brand, your post, and do something. And so use strong action verbs. On Instagram, we talk about hosting a giveaway or a contest, ask them to visit your bio. Ask, on your stories on Instagram, put, click here. If you have over 10,000 followers, you can actually put links on your Instagram. And so, if you want a lot of followers, do it for the right reasons, because you can do some extra stuff on your stories on Instagram, but don't just get 10,000 followers for the sake of having 10,000 followers, because if your engagement rate is so low with 10,000 followers, you're going to continuously get a low score from the algorithm. And so make sure you make the first words count, because there's the see more, dot, 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 see more. And what these platforms want are people to stay on the platform. And so by clicking on see more, boom, they get to continue reading. They get to be on your post a little bit longer. And every second that somebody spends looking at your pictures, reading your content, is a positive signal. And so you want that. You want those to count. On Facebook, avoid sending your followers away from Facebook. So if you have a video, don't put a link to go to YouTube, because now you're sending people away from Facebook, and Facebook doesn't like that. Instead, upload the video to Facebook. And so it's a difference right there between uploading a video and putting a link to go somewhere else. So think about that when you're creating posts that send people away from the platform. Sometimes putting a link in the comment section versus on your actual post, um, Facebook handles it a little bit better, because the algorithm is reading the information above, not the actual comment. And so the links sometimes work in the comment section versus on the top. When we're thinking about call to actions, these are things that, visit your website, come visit us, call us today, things that you want them to do. And so, always have some kind of call to action. It's really important, because it's just, we are telling your clients, your followers, your supporters what to do. So some Facebook and Instagram do's and don'ts. Do use relevant hashtags on Instagram. Don't use tons and tons and tons. Keep it between 10 and 13 hashtags. Maybe use 2 of the same hashtags every single time and switch it up with the other. Your hashtags have to be relevant to the content that you are posting. So if you have a picture of mountains and a nice backdrop, and you have a quote of the day, and you put hashtag puppies, you will get penalized. And so the algorithm it's not dumb. It's like, there are no puppies. There are no words with puppies. Why are you putting hashtag puppies? And so your score is going to be lower behind the scenes. So make sure relevant hashtags are important. Fresh content. You don't want to be repeating stuff over and over. So fresh content, you make sure you're monitoring. Use stories both on Instagram and Facebook. Use video whenever possible. It's really important these days. Facebook really wants videos that are 3 minutes or longer. So something to consider when you're uploading your videos to Facebook. 3 minutes or longer is how you're being judged, how your post is being judged by the algorithm. Instagram, they don't have quite that requirement just yet. So communicate via comments. Make sure that you are answering people's, comments, that you're interacting with them. Nobody wants to put a comment on your page and then silence. They're doing it for a purpose. So be present. Focus on quality over quantity. Make sure that, Instagram specifically, we want quality pictures. Facebook, you can have like 6 pictures and behind the scenes and really cool stuff like that. Instagram, the quality really matters. And then follow influencers, interact with them. Really important to just not be like siloed. Build a community with your business page. Don't talk to the masses. Focus on your target audience. Focus on that individual that's going to engage. Don't post at a time when your followers are busy or not online. So look at your data and analytics for that information. Don't come across as spammy or too forced. You don't want to use these platforms to continuously sell, sell, sell. Educating people is good. Informing people is good. Making jokes is good. Use it as a tool to get to know your brand, to talk to people, to kind of showcase who you are as a brand, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. Not always selling, selling, selling. Don't forget your call to action. One thing that a lot of businesses, do these days is they connect their Instagram and their Facebook accounts together. They link them and they go and post on Instagram and whoop, they send it over to Facebook. Great. You save a lot of time. It's so easy to do. You post it on both platforms. But let's take a step back. Why would a follower want to follow you on Instagram and on Facebook if you're posting the exact same content every single time? They're not. They're going to stop looking at your Instagram or they're going to stop looking at your Facebook, and now your engagement rate is going to go down. So rethink that strategy if that's a strategy that you're using. Number two, when we post on Instagram and send it over to Facebook, it looks sloppy, it looks lazy because we can tell the difference between a Facebook post and an Instagram post. Instagram posts have hashtags. Facebook try to use hashtags, try to get those to work. They don't really work. And so I'm kind of thinking about two different platforms, even though they're owned by the same company. When you tag somebody on Instagram, you put the at the name. That is not how Facebook works, right? And so it just looks like it's an Instagram post copied and pasted to Facebook. Why would people want to see your content on both? And so really think about if you're going to link them and keep them linked because you want to save time and energy, at least spend a couple of seconds editing that post and making it more Facebook applicable, and not just sending it over. My recommendation, though, however, is to curate your content for Facebook, curate your content for Instagram, because that's what's going to get you a higher score behind the scenes, which then is going to make your post much more reachable, more impressions, more engagement, and your brand is going to get that awareness. Don't always just promote, promote, promote. As I said, make sure that we are having those interactions, building a community, having an opportunity to use these platforms to showcase who we are, what we do, but not so forcefully promoting all the time because nobody wants that. Thank you so much for, hopefully you learned something today about Facebook and Instagram posts. My name is Francisco Ramirez. You can follow us at Chimbly Consultants on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I do free webinars throughout the city of Chicago now, online, but I post them when they're happening on social media. And then before we go ahead and start answering questions, I do social media analyses if you're ever interested. I look at everything you're doing on social media and provide a report for you to give you tips and tricks on how to make those better. So thank you very much, and I will go ahead and start any questions.
Okay, we have a few questions today, which is great. Oh, actually a lot. I have to scroll all the way up.
Also, if you enjoyed the content today, a Google My Business review goes a long way for us to continue to offer these free workshops.
I see the examples that you have provided regarding clickbaiting. However, are you able to provide a summary definition of clickbaiting that will encompass most, if not all, of the don'ts?
Yeah, so clickbaiting is when your post is trying to get something out of the user without creating a meaningful engagement. And so it's something that's like mindless. Click, done, I did it. So when you're trying to get somebody just to do something that doesn't require a lot of thinking, a lot of like actual interaction, it's what we consider clickbaiting. So telling somebody, go share this. Why am I sharing this? I don't know. Just because you said so? Sure, share, done. That's clickbaiting. Telling somebody to comment purple, just say purple. Cool, I'll write purple. Didn't have to think about it. Just did it because you told me to. That's clickbaiting. And so our post should be asking people to think about their actions and why they want to comment, why they want to like, why, the whys behind it. So hopefully that helps.
Is posting from IG to Facebook advice?
Can you repeat that question? Sorry.
Is posting from Instagram to Facebook advised?
No, I just commented, I just spent a couple of seconds there at the end saying I wouldn't advise that. I would actually log into Facebook and post on Facebook, and log into Instagram and post on Instagram versus posting on Instagram and just whoop, sending it over to Facebook. I would not advise you do that.
Okay. Please explain what a number of people reached are from since it exceeds the number of followers.
Yeah, great. And so when you post something, the algorithm is going to show it to your followers, first. But if your post gets a really high score behind the scenes, the algorithm gets it a high score. The algorithm thinks that certain people not following you would want to see this post as well. And that is when your post is being shown to non-followers because the algorithm believes those people will have a positive, meaningful interaction with your post, even though they're not following you, in hopes that they start following you. And so that's what you want, organic followers, people who run into your content out of the blue because the algorithm said, hey, Joe Schmo, I know you don't follow this business, but I've seen what you've been looking at on Facebook. I see what you've been clicking on Facebook, and I think this content matches that. And so the algorithm matches that, shows it to Joe Schmo, and Joe Schmo decides whether he likes it or not, and whether he interacts with it or not, and whether he follows your page or not. But the algorithm is making those predictions behind the scenes. That's why the reach and the impressions are much higher sometimes than your follower count.
Can you give a resource on how to find the key data on Facebook and how to interpret it?
I showed you where the data is. It's on your business page. If you go to your business page, under the menu, there's Insights, and all the data is under Insights. Now, interpretation, that's a whole other like hour-long webinar on interpreting every single piece of data that they give you. But yeah, so kind of, doing some research, maybe typing in, what does reach mean? You can find out, or I provide a lot of that information through our business. So if you're interested, you can give us a call. But yeah, Facebook page, Insights, boom, all the data is there.
Can you expand on uploading a video to Facebook? We have tried to do it and have had problems from formatting, sizes, etc. We end up posting links to Google Drive.
Yes, so I would definitely take a look on the specifications of the Facebook videos, what they require you, because they're very specific. I haven't had an issue, but we, kind of have an MP4 videos, just on a if you are to video something on your iPhone, download it to your computer, upload it to Facebook. I've never had a problem with that, and so maybe re-looking at what format you're using, how. Yeah, what are you using to film those videos really might make the difference in terms of the uploading capacity. And so take a look at, unfortunately, I do not have the specific requirements for a Facebook video, but I'm pretty sure they have it listed somewhere on their account, or like what is expected. I would really challenge you to take a look at that, find out what is needed, because you're going to get more traction, more reach, more impressions by uploading that video rather than posting a link.
Can you talk about post times?
Yes, post times. So what time we post matters for the passive signals of the algorithm. If you're posting at 9 a.m. and your followers are in California, meaning it's 7 a.m. over there, they're probably not awake, or they're probably not on Facebook, which means you're going to get penalized because you posted at a time that your followers, your audience is not engaged on the platform. And so post time matters because you want to post at a time where your followers are on the platform and when people are actually going to take time to read your content, click on your pictures, interact. And so lunchtime is a good time to post, just a rule of thumb. We all back in the day, I don't know today, right? But back in the day when we were in the office, we take a lunch break and we get our phones and we scroll through Facebook. What did I miss? So lunchtime is really good. Post work is always good. People on their commutes on the train, pre-pandemic, they were on their phones, which probably means they were on the social network. Good time to post. LinkedIn is a different beast. I wouldn't post LinkedIn, at 6 p.m. because most people are at home and they're done with LinkedIn. Facebook, maybe 7 p.m. is a good time. But look at your data, look at your insights. It'll tell you when your followers are online, and I would post when the majority of my followers are online.
Is there any value in deleting past posts?
No, I mean, unless you don't want people to see them, but they're kind of just archived and in the background. If you did a rebrand for your business, it's always good to delete those posts that maybe have the old brand or the old logo, but really there's no value.
Can you review the engagement rate again for Facebook? Recently, the platform has changed. Their creative studio looks different from your examples.
My example is because I have a marketing account for questions. So, but if you go, maybe this will help. Let me share my screen again. Great. Let's go down here. So if I go to the business account, sorry, let me move this. Give me a second. If I go to Business Suite, maybe it looks like this for you. There's Business Suite as well, and it has insights for both Facebook and Instagram. And so trends, content, audience, right here you have reach. So I don't know if you're talking about this format versus the one I showed earlier. These are the two that I'm familiar with, the business suite or the business page that I just showed you through the marketing, but they're both, under insights. If you're looking at something that I don't have, I would just look for the insights tab, and there's the reach, and it even tells you here the definition between post reach and kind of like impressions, and allows you to just dive into those definitions as well if you want more information. Hopefully that helps.
Okay, we have another question. Is it better to use IGTV or Instagram video to post? In my case, both of the same videos got similar view counts, but different viewers.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the difference between the two is, honestly. I think, the content is really what matters. I would focus more on what, is easiest for you, what works for your brand, where your followers are going to find you easier. But if both are working, then I don't know really the difference between both. I'm glad that they both worked for you, but yeah, experimenting, maybe continuing that project and seeing, okay, we're going to stick with one or continue to stick with both. Sometimes it's social media can be just kind of a play around and figure out what works for you.
Any recommendations for free tools on social media, posting, content calendar?
I know, well, Facebook has a content calendar that you can actually schedule your post on Facebook. And you can schedule them for Facebook and for Instagram, so it's free. They're competing against the HubSpot. I think Social Pilot is another one that gives you, maybe one account for free, and then you have to pay for others. HubSpot has one, Social Pilot, and Facebook are three that I know people use. But yeah, if you're just posting on Facebook, why not use their own scheduler since they offer it for free?
Is posting or using stories better?
Great question. Okay. So I'm going to talk first about Instagram. When you're thinking about Instagram, your feed, when somebody goes to your profile, they see all the beautiful pictures. They see what, kind of feel your brand has. If it's curated, if it's not. So when you're posting, I would always think on Instagram, is this post going to be good a month from today? Do I want people to see it 2 months from today? If not, put it up on a story because it'll disappear in 24 hours. When you have a sale, for example, or you're kind of highlighting a product, a new product or a service that's just kind of like fun, put it on the story because you don't want it to live there forever. A sale is specifically if you create like a nice little graphic for a 15% off the month of May. Well, that's no longer applicable in June or in July. So why would I have it on my, on part of my visual? And so I would put that in a story. A post that you want there forever, that to live, that people like can click on and learn, or it's still like useful 6 months from today, go ahead and post it. That's kind of my rule of thumb. And Facebook, I think posts kind of disappear on Facebook. You have to actually search for previous posts. You have to go to their business page and go to their posts and kind of scroll down to find stuff. So it just becomes easier to post on Facebook, sales or, you know, events or things that, kind of might not be worthwhile in 2 months, but they'll be lost in all the shuffle in 2 months. And so that's when I talk about curating your content for Facebook and Instagram, two different platforms, two different ways of using it. I would use stories more often on Instagram and save the good posts or the good content for posting. On Facebook, it's fine. Go ahead and post it and see what happens. That's kind of how I see those types of things between stories and posts.
When creating conversation starters, should this be limited to a certain amount of words? For example, short and sweet, not too overwhelming for the audience?
Um, I think it varies, I think you can create like a really good paragraph and then ask a question. That might work in some instances. I think you can also just have one question and nothing else, and that's going to work. I would base it on the content, on the image. What are you really trying to get out of it? So sometimes one question, nothing else, is going to get you that conversation, and other times you might have to explain something and then ask the question, and so that's okay as well. So remember, you want people to stay on the platform, to stay on your post, and so sometimes the longer is really what's going to get you that positive score.
Text, video, image, or a combination of both? Which is the most effective for interacting and marketing to my audience?
Out of the top three, text, video, or image, definitely not text. So that's third place. Always put an image or a video. Don't just put text. So that's number one. Between an image and a video, I think it's circumstantial. If your video is really engaging and has captions and it's high production value, that's of course going to get better results than an image because the video is just, that much more engaging. But if your video is really not engaging, kind of boring, and no captions, people are just going to skip it. And an image would have been better. And so I can't give you one is better than the other because at the end of the day, it's about the content. A really good image is going to potentially get like shares versus a really good video might be, just watched and not shared. So um, I think at the end of the day is the content, and I would mix it between both video and images and not stick to just one. But definitely reconsider just text. That's probably not going to get you the high score that you want or the results that you want.
Okay. I opened only my personal Facebook and Instagram. I believe they didn't finish the question. Okay. How do I make it a business account?
You have to open a business. On Instagram, it allows you to turn it into a business account. You go to the hamburger menu, and then let me see. I think there's one that says turn into business account on Instagram. So it's really easy just to say. I think it's under settings. I'm on my phone right now. Sorry. Under settings, account. Uh, And, oh yeah, under settings, account, and it says switch to professional account. And so if you click that, boom, Instagram will turn your page into a business account. So settings, account, switch to a personal account. On Facebook, you actually have to go to the page tab and open and create a business page under your private personal page. And so you log into your personal page, there's a tab for like um, pages. I think it's pages. And then under pages, it says create a new page. Boom, business page. And then it opens up and you fill in all your information, website, all that good stuff. So Instagram, you can switch it or open a brand new account. And Facebook, you have to actually open a brand new page under your account. Hope that helps.
When you said post educational posts is better as video or word posts.
Definitely video, but I sometimes put I create, a little nice design, on Canva or Adobe Spark. You create kind of a graphic and, put some facts on the graphic. Boom, that's your image. And then put content related to those facts in the post. And so that's a simple way to be educational, right? Create just a short graphic, boom, create content for the graphic. If you want to go all out and create videos for your informational stuff, that's amazing. But sometimes you can do it as quickly as a graphic as well to inform people. If you go to your Instagram account, Chimbly Chicago, you'll see, we just give like tips, every so often, just marketing tips and technology tips. It's just a graphic. And then in the content, I share more information about that tip.
Okay, that looks like the bulk of the questions, but a lot of them are asking if you could put your contact information in the chat or leave it back up on the
Yes,
screen.
I would love that. Give me a second here. So Francisco at Chimbly is my email. And then Chimbly Consultants on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is at Chimbly Chicago, and LinkedIn. Instagram is at Chimbly Chicago. Otherwise, you can find us on Facebook and LinkedIn, Chimbly Consultants. And Francisco at chimbly.com, www.chimbly.com. As I said,
Okay, any last words?
Yeah, no. As I said, we offer, analyses, marketing analysis to look at your website and your social media. I take a really close look, a dive in, and give you tactics and specific information on how to make it better. If you're interested, go ahead and reach out to us. At the end of the day, social media is a kind of a fun thing that, it's kind of test and play around, and we're going to make some mistakes. We're going to learn from it, but we should be doing it in order to get awareness. And that's the most important. Posting in order to get awareness, play with it, look at your data, your analytics, and find out what works and what doesn't, and move on. So hopefully today you found useful. I appreciate everybody's time. Once again, Francisco Ramirez at Chimbly Consultants.
Thank you so much, Francisco, and thank you to all of our attendees today. Again, if you would like to receive credit for today's webinar, please send us an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. And to learn more about the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can also send us an email there as well. Thank you, and everyone have a great weekend. Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.